So it is September 6th?
Yes,
I believe so.
September 6th. It's about 6:45. We're here in Fort Myers getting ready to go into McAllister's. We're going for the Lee Liberty Forum, hosted by the Lee Libertarian Party. Should be interesting, should be a lot of fun. Let's go inside. When I first talked about running for office, I told my friends I was thinking of doing it, and everybody said, well, your candidacy is going to last about 5 minutes. And what have we been here now? About 10, 15 minutes? So I've already outlasted expectations by 3 times. So we're doing good. But I was really happy to get the invite to come here and talk to you. And even though the Libertarian Party is considered a third party or a small party, I think the views that the Libertarians express reflect the views of a lot of people here in Southwest Florida, if not the majority of people.
Yeah, where do you feel that the Green Party or conservationists intersect with libertarians?
First of all, I am very concerned about the environment. I believe that global warming is a real threat. I think that there's a solid scientific consensus that backs that, and I think that there's no reason for doubt on that. Now, where the libertarianism and the green intersects, that's always kind of the balance. I look at, probably from what I understand of a libertarian point of view, and please let me know if I'm off here, is that essentially being a libertarian means that you believe in the maximum amount of personal freedom possible. And when I look at my philosophy on government is that you have to have, at all times, you have to have a balance between private individual interests, and you have to have between that and the overall public concerns. It's really, and another way that you can put that is sort of a balance between rights and responsibilities.
So my point is, if it was a private company that ran Yellowstone Park and kept it as pristine as it is, they would not have to let snowmobilers in there, and they could keep it more pristine, more natural than it actually is, as a result of it being the people's property.
Business is driven a lot of times by short-term goals and short-term interests. We see this in the stock market, in the publicly traded companies in particular. Whatever is going to keep the shareholders happy for this quarter often is what the management of these companies tends to do. Now, my concern with turning over a park like Yellowstone to private interests is once you do that, what may end up happening is that at a certain point they'll say, okay, we're not making a good enough profit on this, let's go ahead and let the snowmobiles in just for this year or just for this next year. They'll end up making decisions based on profitability instead of what's good for the long-term interest of the park.
So could you explain your underlying philosophy? What is your, it's not how you're going to do your campaign. Why are you doing your campaign? And what will we expect at the end as a result?
There are a lot of issues that I have, that I feel that there's no room for me to maneuver on. One of the issues is the war. I was out there before the war saying that invading Iraq was a mistake, and we're all seeing the consequences of that now. But then there are a lot of issues like taxation and things like that I feel aren't so much of moral obligations as they are issues that we need to work out through consensus. People are going to have different opinions. And so the main concern that I have is taking back the political process for the people.
Every election cycle comes up that abortion. This is a hot button, and the only reason they use it is because it is such. But, your religion, how would that affect how you vote?
Well, for me personally, where I come down with the issue of abortion is, I think morally there are circumstances when it's not appropriate, and there are circumstances when it is the appropriate thing to do. And ultimately, when you're looking at a question of legality, you've got to recognize that the position of the government, the sovereignty of the government, ends sometime before the war. You're number one on the right to bear arms. I think there's no question that the Constitution guarantees that. I'm sorry, could you name the other three again?
IRS, Social Security, and the war on drugs.
The war on drugs. This is a huge topic. I think my short answer to that is I think the war on drugs has kind of been the warm-up round for the war on terror. And I think they're about as equally as successful. Now, the problem is when you go out there and you talk about this, you automatically get these knee-jerk reactions from everybody about that. This is a dialogue. If we're going to talk about legalization, if we're going to talk about these sort of things, this is a dialogue that everybody in the country has got to have. Right now, I'm not sure that this is the best time to bring it up with everything that's going on with the war on terror and everything. But I think in the future, yeah, we need to rethink that. The issue on the IRS, actually, I think how I first got a hold of Jack was on the issue of the fair tax. I am 100% committed to ensuring that there is a progressive taxation system. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have the income-based taxing system that we have now. I'm open to other alternatives, and I'm not 100% sold yet on the idea of fair tax. There's a lot of questions, but I think it's interesting because essentially, you know, with the quality of the rebate, that it's a much more progressive idea on what is essentially a flat tax than anything we've seen before. So I think if nothing else, that's in the right direction.
You said you're hard over on progressive taxes. Why? What's the underlying?
What someone who's making $20,000 a year, 20% of everything that they make in is huge life decision. It can be major life decisions. And, you know, if you're talking about, just as an example, just as a number, 20% of somebody in that income range, they have to make major decisions based on that. Someone who's making $2 million a year, 20% is it's a matter of choices between different luxuries. So there's that issue number one, and then the other thing is that I think this goes back to the idea of the balance between rights and responsibility. Wealth is, I think, the rawest form of power in modern society that there is, and like anything anything in this world, it can be used for good or bad, and you get to a point where you have to find that balance between what are the right of individuals to accumulate wealth, and when does that accumulation of wealth infringe upon their responsibilities to the larger community. And I don't have any easy set of answers right now to where that line is. And truth, I think it's fluid. It's something that we've got to constantly debate about from now till time of one. I don't think there's ever going to be one answer. But
how are you going to deal with a situation that is currently happening, and I don't want to inject my own personal, but it's happened to me, where when you get to be of Social Security age, you're forced to take Social Security at the earliest time, and then they proceed to cut your Social Security in half, and then they offset it against your pension and reduce your pension, and then they combine them and they tax them. So I've had the personal experience of seeing at least 60% of my Social Security wiped out by one offset, tax, whatever. Now, what ideas do you have to somehow unwind this Ponzi scheme?
That's a huge question. And this is something that, and this is one of the things I want to get everybody to talk about over the next year. Right now, the first thing that we got to do is we've got to be honest about it. You're right. You know, demographics and the changes in life expectancy have not been kind to that particular program. But I think what's even been worse than the problem is instead of steadily adjusting the benefits like they should have been over past decades to reflect the changes in demographics, to reflect the changes in life expectancy, they've just done what's convenient and what's politically popular and not touch the system, and now we're getting into the mess that we're in. I think we've kind of dug ourselves into a hole. So that's a huge question. I don't have an easy answer for you right now.
I have the answer for that. Euthanasia.
Right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Euthanasia worked. It wasn't for me.